into a rant. Hey, what's up? MKBHD here. Okay, you know what's gotten a little annoying lately? Overusing the word confirmed. So I was on Twitter yesterday. Maybe I spend too much time on Twitter. I think we all kind of do to some extent. But I saw iPhone 13 trending for almost no reason. But you kind of see this every once in a while. Like the iPhone will just trend because people see the name of the new one and they think it just came out because it's trending on Twitter. But it's trending for no reason. So then this Forbes article pops up right in the middle of it. Apple's massive iPhone 13 upgrades suddenly confirmed. Do you remember when the official dictionary definition of literally was adjusted to include figurative use because people misused it so many times it just became part of how it's used? I feel like that's what's happening with the word confirmed here. Nothing about the iPhone 13 is confirmed. Nothing is confirmed until Apple goes on stage in September like they always do and announces and shows what the new iPhone 13 is. Until then, nothing is actually confirmed. So this article, if you made the mistake of going through and actually clicking on it like I did, it's just cherry picking a 2-week-old Everything Apple Pro video. And Everything Apple Pro, great guy, Philip, I've met him. Love the videos, respect what he does. He does regular reporting and renders / mockups to help visualize leaks and rumors about upcoming iPhones. Just fun video stuff. He even calls it leaks in the video's title, and he collaborates on this particular video with Max Weinbach, who also presents some new rumors in the form of leaks, some of which may be true, others may turn out not to be true. But then Forbes, or at least this one writer, turning around and calling it confirmed is pretty much useless. That's not actually what's happening here. If you happen to trust Forbes for your regular source of tech reporting or information, I wouldn't think that this builds any confidence in that. So you know what? I'll link Philip's video down below if you actually want to catch up on the latest leaks and rumors about the new iPhone, which include like a maybe smaller notch and a refined matte black texture, all that fun stuff. Shout out to him. Anyway, speaking of Twitter, I figured I'd do a Q&A because I haven't done one in a little bit, and I do enjoy these a lot. In the quiet time of year where not a lot of tech is coming out, asked you on Twitter what you wanted to know, and these are your best questions. Favorite Daft Punk album and song? Oh man, this is a tough one. I hope I'm not the one breaking the news to you by now, but in case you didn't know, after 28 years of a kind of epic career, Daft Punk is no more. They put out a video. It's over. There will be no more Daft Punk, which is actually pretty sad. But they had an incredible impact on music and in electronics and tech in the music world. I honestly feel like Ram it's the best produced album. I have different answers for different stuff they've made. I think recency bias, I have to say Random Access Memories is one of my favorite albums ever and super well produced. But I think Discovery is their best album. And my personal favorite Daft Punk song changes all the time. I think right now, I would say it's actually Too Long. Might not be a common answer, but I love that song. Do you have any tech that you weren't excited about at first, but now has become something that you use pretty frequently? Oh, interesting question, Brayden. The thing that comes to mind for me is a mechanical keyboard. I didn't use a mechanical keyboard for years. I had always edited and was really fast on chiclet style keys with literally the one that came with my MacBook. And this whole mechanical keyboard thing really grew on me. I've been using one called the Keychron K2, and then the K3 came out, but I've stuck with the K2 and my custom keys. And there's actually a really great video recently, I'll link below, a YouTuber who rebuilt the K2 with like a sweet red and black theme and some new quieter switches, and he's gonna send it to me. So if it gets here, maybe it'll show up in a video, but that I thought was pretty sweet. Okay, Renee Ritchie's got a question. If you could Jurassic Park up any extinct phone, Droid or Palm Pre or Lumia or anything, and go fully modern, updated version, what would it be and why? And actually, I feel like I immediately know. I'm gonna go HTC One M8 Google Play Edition. That phone kicked. If I could get a fully updated version of that phone going, it didn't have the best camera, which was like its biggest downside, but the build quality, all metal unibody, front-facing speakers, get that on the newest version of Android, I would use that phone today. That would be pretty sweet. I think even a matte black version existed. This is probably trolling. Will Apple's car support Android Auto? I think if Apple even ever makes a car, we know nothing about it, but I think there's one thing I can probably say, which is it probably won't support Android Auto. You know what's funny? I saw a Hyundai the other day. It's one of the new, I think it's a Sonata or something like that. And I've talked about this before on the Waveform podcast, but when I think of Apple car, it's so hard for me to imagine anything other than like a perfect white sphere that like rolls down the street. Like, I don't know what an Apple car looks like, but I saw that Hyundai, and there's all these rumors about Hyundai working with Apple, and it's got these lines for the headlights that go all the way up and like merge with the chrome, so you don't know where the DRLs end and the chrome begins from afar. And I looked at that and I said, I could see an Apple logo on that. I could see that. It doesn't seem that crazy to me, but this is a very far off into the future type stuff. Can you speak Spanish? Yo no hablo mucho español, pero yo comprendo. Pero no hablo. All right, there's a comment here, a question about, do you think electric car manufacturers could get rid of the charging port like Apple did with their phones? In the near future, and he says in the near future, not anytime in the near future. And this has always been such a weird thing about Apple using the environmental excuse as to why they're getting rid of chargers. When the fact of the matter is, wireless charging, since you're replacing ports with wireless charging is very inefficient and therefore directly impacting against that environmental gain when you use way more power to charge the same phone inefficiently. So when you scale that up to an electric car, that's very inefficient for a very large battery. There's no way wireless charging in any time in the near future is going to be a great idea. But that being said, I like where your head's at. Maybe someday wireless charging can get so direct and so good that all you have to do is drive over like a wireless charging pad in your garage, and as long as you're somewhere near the right place, it'll charge overnight. That would be pretty sweet, but that's nowhere near the near future. All right, so of all the tech you get to see/use, what was the last thing that you saw which made you think, wow, this is the future? Huh. I like that question. I'm gonna ask it to everyone here in the studio. My answer, I think I'm just gonna say electric cars in general. Like, not a lot of stuff really blows my mind because I get to see the steps of things as they happen. But I think the first time I got to drive an electric car and really experience it, I was like, oh yeah, this will be how all cars are in the future.
It might not be the last one, but the biggest piece, or like the biggest this is the future moment, is probably VR. There's just that aspect of taking off the goggles and realizing you're in a room and not on a mountain or not waving a lightsaber. And I feel like that was just the moment where I felt like I left my body because of technology.
I'm gonna go with Boston Dynamics Spot, I think is the dog's name. Just because it looks like something out of a sci-fi movie and it has better balance than I do. Like, if you try pushing me over, I will fall. And that thing did not.
I'm gonna have to go with all of computational imaging and video, but particularly Adobe announced content-aware fill in video for After Effects, where you can just remove whole people or things from the video. And the fact that they democratized that for everyone kind of freaked me out a little bit, because now we don't really know what's real.
Arun says, if you could take the hardware from one phone and the software from another, which combo would you have? So I think it's pretty easy. I'd take a Galaxy S21 Ultra and I'd put like stock Android. I'd do a Google Play Edition. Google Play Edition. That's the two things I'd combine. I did a little more of a detailed tweet, which I ran out of characters, but about like the Frankenstein phone I would make from a bunch of pieces. But Arun, if I could only pick two, it's this hardware, which is pretty sweet, and like a Nexus. What objectively terrible product do you regularly use, either because of necessity or because you love them despite their flaws? There's not a lot of like objectively terrible tech that you end up having to keep around, but you know what is objectively terrible? Printers. Like, that's the one piece of tech we all have that reminds us that we're not living in the future. We know we don't have flying cars, but you know, there's a lot of futuristic stuff around. Printers have just been bad since the beginning. I wonder what would happen if like Google or Apple or someone just decided to make a good printer. Like, could that really be done? There's a lot of product categories out there that I wish they'd get into, but what if Apple just made a good printer? It's got a screen that you can actually type on. It doesn't get jams all the time. It's probably $700, but what would that look like? It's another weird one. Is there any retro tech episode coming anytime soon? Yes. I'm not going to spoil exactly what's going down, but it's going to be a fun one. We've finished shooting season 2, and it's a little different from season 1, and there's a lot of good stuff that I can't wait to share. It's in the production editing phase, and it is coming soon. Keep an eye out for that. Oh, look, did you put a reservation for the Tesla Model S Plaid yet? I don't know if this person's joking or if they saw my tweet. I'll explain. I'll explain later. There's more to it than you think. Just wait and see. I'll explain. What's one of those little things that very few people talk about that's still very cool? Can I just give a shout out to NASA? This isn't an official NASA shirt, but can we give a shout out to NASA? There's a rover that just last week landed on Mars. And since landing on Mars, which is already amazing, it has sent back tens of thousands of photos, 4K videos of the landing and of the Martian surface. That is unreal. For some reason, to me, the video of it landing where the parachute pops out and it's going like 900 meters per second or something crazy, but it pops out and then you see the rocket dangle the robot down, land it on Mars, and then fly away. All of that has already been sent back to Earth tens of millions of miles in 4K. I don't know. That is future type stuff. I'm excited for what the Perseverance mission can end up uncovering. They've landed it right where they wanted it to. We're looking for signs of life on another planet. This is an exciting time to be alive. Shout out to NASA. And then we got the classic single NBA question. Who will be in the NBA Finals this year? So I think it's got to be the Nets. All my NBA predictions will be if healthy, right? So if the entire NBA, every team is fully healthy, I gotta see the Nets coming out of the East, which is exciting because they're in their backyard. Out of the West, it's a little more interesting. If healthy, which AD is very important, I see the Lakers being the team to beat, but the Jazz look so good. I've had Mike Conley on my fantasy team. I feel like the Jazz they kind of look like the Hawks that one year where they had like a bunch of all-stars and won a ton of games and then sort of flamed out in playoffs. We'll see how they do, but they're a really exciting team to watch. I also have Rudy Gobert on my fantasy team. Shout out to the Jazz. But yeah, I feel like it's the Nets and the Lakers. Oh, that's a good update. So is the form to apply to work here still open? And if so, for how much longer? It is still open, but as you can tell, we have been making moves and the team has started to build. So I will adjust that form. I will adjust the form for what things are still being added, and I'll try to share updates on Twitter. If you're not already following on Twitter, if you haven't guessed by now, I use it a lot for all kinds of stuff, so follow over there. Okay, can I be in the intro or outro of this video? Yeah, actually you can. You can be in the outro. Thanks for watching. Peace.